I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
This was the greatest Comic-Con ever! Are you stoked? I'm stoked.
Back when animals were more badass, they were more singulata, like the 2-ton Glyptodont and the smaller Pampatheridae, which could fart fire and teleport 2 inches in any direction. Who did this research?
Ladies and gentlemen, Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner!
Woo! We are going to be talking about Marvel Studios and their appearance at San Diego Comic-Con. They have returned to the homeland, and they have a slate of just glorious movies that we are
Anxious to talk about.
we're stoked. We are stoked to talk about.
One thing that is funny, now that Marvel, almighty MCU, is back at Hall H, back at San Diego Comic-Con, the articles that you see out there, if you ever need confirmation of a bias, this is the time. I have never seen so many people happy to talk about the MCU than this weekend. It was just amazing to see everybody's covering it compared to last year where it's like, meh, covered some DC things, but the biggest thing coming out of that was a bunch of retards thinking DC's called World of DC now.
And that's pretty much been long but forgotten.
No, I still see people with pages and shit like that. It just blows me away. Some of the things that Kevin Feige came out to roarous applause, by the way. Thousands of people inside Hall H stoked for Marvel.
Stone Cold hopes that he once again has that type of pop that Kevin Feige had. I mean, it was just nuts.
What?
Stone Cold is like shaking in his boots, like,
What?
if only I had that type of pop.
I'm back. I'm better than ever.
Oh, man. That's for our wrestling fans. There you go.
Again, we'll just throw out a couple of the movies that they just threw out haphazardly at the end. There will be a Captain Marvel 2 Electric Boogaloo, a Black Panther 2 Electric Boogaloo. They're not naming these things, by the way. And then all of a sudden he says Fantastic Four and Mutants, which I haven't seen many people question this, why he said mutants and not X-Men. I don't know if this is their way of rebranding X-Men. Maybe he's been wanting to say the word mutants for a while now, and he hasn't had the chance because of, obviously, Fox owning the X-Men. Whatever. So he just threw that out there, and people were wondering why they didn't really cover it that much. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because 2 of those things made $1 billion, and they really don't need any advertisement. We'd rather advertise Disney Plus.
Over and over and over again. I was telling this story to Matt before we started recording, but the very first thing that I had seen in regards to Marvel and what their slate of movies was going to be for Phase 4 was someone who was in the audience. They took a picture. It was kind of like a side angle shot of the slate. And I was kind of surprised. I'm like, man, they actually have a lot scheduled for Phase 4, a lot of movies scheduled for Phase 4. I was pretty surprised. And then I actually see the image up close. And I start reading Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki. I'm like, wait a minute. Those aren't movies. Those are TV shows from Disney Plus. And then I notice, okay, each of them have the Disney Plus logo underneath them. This isn't their slate of films. This is their just slate over the next 2 years, give or take. I believe by the end of fall 2021, it's just a slate of crap. Like here's our next set of stuff, and a lot of this, like WandaVision, outshined X-Men Fantastic Four. What people were really excited and kind of itching to see, like, okay, what are they going to talk about? What are they going to do in terms of Fantastic Four and X-Men? And no, it's just an afterthought. But WandaVision and the Falcon and fucking Winter Soldier are up close and personal, and you got the giant advertisement for Disney Plus, and I was just shocked.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Are you really shocked that they use this as a Disney Plus advertisement and everybody just ate it up? Like, look at all this new original content we're going to get. No, it's going to be the same shit rehashed into TV now. It's going to have a lower budget than ever. They're probably just going to have the green screen sleeve left on Winter Soldier. Like, they're not even probably going to do anything with it.
Like from that poster.
Or he's going to wear a lot of long sleeves and just to really minimize the fucking his metal arm, because it's TV now. It's not going to get the budget that the movies have. So these are going to be really shitty. Now these guys actually have to carry something and use dialogue and have good character development and everything. Now they actually have to do that, and we'll see what happens. Netflix can pull it off because those characters were grounded and they actually meant something. And they actually worked hard on building character development for them. These guys already are established in the movies, and now they got to try to bring those characters to TV and drag that out for a couple episodes. I'm very curious how that's going to go. Loki might be fine because it's Loki. He kind of can develop that type of trickster mentality and stuff like that. And apparently it's set right after Avengers. So it's not Loki that started learning his lessons or anything like that. It's still asshole Loki that was trying to conquer New York.
Interesting. I did not know that. I just know that logo is fucking awful. It looks to me like something that we would have come up with, you know, when we were throwing ideas together for our logo and we're like trying to incorporate comic and movie and marks like all into the same thing. That's kind of what that reminded me of. Like, okay, awesome.
Shout out to Ray that did our logo. Good job on Loki. Anyway, no, actually, he wouldn't do anything that bad.
No, our logo is fucking solid compared to that thing. I agree with you. Netflix stuff was grounded. They were developing these new characters. Hawkeye would be cool if it was the Ronin type character. I was very intrigued with that specific character, but Hawkeye, meh. I don't know. And most of the stuff I'm not really interested in, and nor do I care. And it'd be really tough to do. For example, if they were going to have a TV show with Henry Cavill playing Superman, that's tough to do. You kind of take a lot of the excitement out of it. A lot of it becomes very repetitive. It's hard to continue to build on a character that's already established. They can be more successful with different takes on, you know, like Smallville or something along those lines. And what DC is doing with their DC Universe app and Titans and Doom Patrol, they're trying to establish kind of their own thing as well. Again, a little bit more grounded, a little bit darker, and it works. But when you're taking the Falcon, Winter Soldier, which Falcon, I don't know if they're gonna make him in the Captain America in this or not. Wanda and Vision, that's gonna be pretty much a chick flick type TV show, I'm sure. Just their love for each other. Then I'm assuming that's before Infinity War. But it's weird. None of this stuff to me.
Really? You think it's... Are you sure about that, Shane? That you think it's before Infinity?
It could be in an urn, you know, like the Undertaker, like Wanda's just carrying around this urn. Like.
Fucking A, man. Good thing we have you here.
For the deep, thoughtful.
So then we have two different movies that were actually, announced, and we have some actors. Eternals, which is going to be their first movie into Phase 4, or something that I thought was funny was Feige saying this.
This film is full Jack Kirby.
Kind of doing a Jack Kirby jab. I don't know. Maybe that's the Gotham in me that thinks that this guy looks like a clown. Anyway, but the fact that New Gods is very Jack Kirby, and I just thought it was kind of interesting that he specifically pointed out that Eternals is going to be very Jack Kirby-ish. Kind of felt like a jab. I could be making up. And then the fuck Trevor Slattery movie will be coming out, which is called Shang-Chi, The Quest for 10 Rings or some shit like that. Quest, 2 Towers of Earth, 3 Kings. Anyway, they're looking for some rings. They're actually going to try to use the real Mandarin. Maybe. I will actually respect Marvel if it's still a fake Mandarin.
if they dupe everyone again. Aha! Yes. Stay tuned for the next.
It's Trevor's fucking cousin.
Right. For our next attempt at trying the Mandarin.
The other thing here is, of course, now I see a lot of people, Marvel's going woke for it, because now we have several characters. We have a female Thor now, because apparently Thor in, Thor Love and Thunder, which apparently was like a big surprise to people.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked for He-Man Masters of the Universe. They totally fucking ripped off that logo. Come on. Where's the creativity in these damn things? Like, that's exactly... I'm like,
Look
wait
at
a
the
minute.
name.
That's
Look at the
fucking
name and tell
He-Man
me.
logo.
Yeah, well, the name is even shittier than the look. Love and Thunder. Get the fuck out of here. That's just a terrible name. This means nothing. And they already pretty much gave away, you know, there's going to be a female Thor. So apparently 90-pound Natalie Portman's going to hold a hammer that's twice her size. I don't fucking know. We have something to look forward to. He's going to be totally cucked. That's all I can say. Is that... But now Marvel officially is woke, I guess. That's what I keep seeing so much now. People disappointed in the future of Marvel in some cases. Maybe those are the negatives that a lot of people see. I just see people using that word a lot. And like usual, people use a word so fucking much now that it doesn't mean anything anymore. Even a made-up word like that, slang, gets ruined because people overuse it so much and it means everything now. It's just a publicity stunt. It keeps these movies alive that are not going to be out for another 2 years. But it keeps them alive. It keeps the people talking about them. Even when the trailers come, it's going to keep people talking about them. And that's the whole point. The media and Hollywood have got you on a string, and they're just bouncing you back and forth because they know they're just fucking with you. They know the media is going to take this, switch it around on the fans, that anybody that doesn't like it. The fans are going to turn it on Disney and the media, and it's just going to be this roundabout fuckfest circle jerk. People talk about no politics in movies. I don't want politics in my movies. You can have politics in your movies as long as it actually means something. These are just publicity stunts. They're just doing this because it's the cool, trending thing to do. They don't actually give a shit. Hollywood doesn't give a shit about this stuff.
Political and ideological implications of that, too. So like when Matt Damon is playing a Chinese warrior on the Great Wall of China, they're going to be changing all sorts of things. I mean, for God's sake, the remake of Red Dawn couldn't have, North Koreans or Chinese as the villains this time or something. A character in Doctor Strange had to be changed from an ancient Tibetan wise man to Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
Does that kind of stuff trouble you, or is that just part of the, this is what happens?
Well, look, real life troubles me much more than the movies do, but since I feel invested in movies, and I always have, I guess so. Changing certain elements in material to please the Chinese, well, morally, how does one feel about that? How does one feel about the fact that there is no longer gay representation in studio movies because they need to play globally? They need to play in Russia, they need to play in China. And if you even have a hint of gayness in a movie now, like the very innocuous gay aspect in Beauty and the Beast, the live-action remake that came out last year, it's edited, or it's rated R. It's restricted in other countries, and this is a G-rated, PG-rated movie. That is kind of troubling, but it also is indicative of the hypocrisies of Hollywood, and it's very indicative of how Hollywood thinks it's so progressive and that they are so into inclusivity and diversity and all of this stuff, but really they're into money, and they want to make money.
Politics can work in movies. I mean, just look at Batman versus Superman. Every act is a political act. That's how you incorporate political nature into a movie. It's a publicity stunt, and it's free advertising, and people fall for it every time. What Marvel ends it all on is Blade. They announce Blade, and now they don't announce if it's going to be a TV show, a series, maybe on Hulu, maybe something on Disney Plus, or if it's actually going to be a movie. If you listen to Kevin Feige here,
shall the casting happen? We are huge fans of his. He wanted to come in and meet soon after he won his second Academy Award, which was an honor. And within 10 minutes, he basically was like, "What's happening with Blade? I want to do it." And we went, "That's what's happening with Blade. Let's do it."
I don't know if this really how this went down. If it's true, then there's not much thought put into it. Which kind of feels a little odd. I'm sure this was for comedic purposes that he just described it in this manner. Now we officially got a new Blade, and he's been part of the Marvel Universe already with the Netflix series playing Cottonmouth. It seems like with most castings lately, my only issue really is obviously not his acting ability, but he is very skinny, and he's got some big boots to fill when it comes to Blade. Now, for me personally, Blade is a very, very big deal. If you go back to a very old video of ours of the most underrated comic book movies, Blade was my number one. And the reason why it was my personal number one was because Blade was the first comic book movie that I ever really loved. And it got me into comic book movies. And if you look at it, it really is what kicked off a new generation of comic book movies. When everything was collapsing, Marvel was going into bankruptcy, DC failed with Batman and Robin, then they had to scrap Superman Lives because of the failure of Batman and Robin. Then you have Blade, something that was truly unique at the time. And I think what really set the taste for movies for me, it's grounded, it's R, and maybe that's why I kind of lean that way when it comes to comic book movies, is because of Blade. Wesley Snipes has been campaigning for a while with Marvel. They're great one-liners from the original Blade trilogy. Can't be topped. And if for any reason Disney tries to go PG-13 with this, we're going to be missing out on stuff like this.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. I was born ready, motherfucker.
Freeze! Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
Hopefully, Marvel can do this right. I don't mind a reboot of Blade. I really love Blade as a character. And the first Blade, again, is really important to like my childhood. Something I saw when I was 11, and I actually got the VHS still to this day of Blade. I tricked my parents into buying it for me. I told them it was some other movie, and they got it for me without paying attention. I got a rated R movie when I was 11, and I saw other rated R movies as well, but that was awesome to get the VHS. It was my first superhero movie I ever owned. I liked Batman 89. That worked for me as a kid. I've always, even as a kid, thought the Superman movies were a little too campy for me overall. But Blade was like this eye-opening thing for me. Just something grounded, realistic, bloody, and just fantastic in every aspect. The one thing I do enjoy seeing right now is I've seen a lot of respect. I have seen some people downing Wesley Snipes' role, but I have seen actually a lot of respect now coming towards Wesley Snipes and the character of Blade. And I always felt like they were kind of ignored. I always felt that the contributions that Snipes, Goyer, Norrington did to comic book movies, what they did for this character, I always felt like people kind of ignored it, especially when Black Panther came around. It seemed like people just ignored Blade ever even existed. But now I feel like Blade has gotten a new spotlight put on it, and a lot of people want Wesley Snipes to be involved in it somehow. Hopefully, Marvel doesn't fuck this up.
And just look how happy he is.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.